murderers and criminals are in charge and police is seen as the enemy, well, for such people, liberty is in danger. Liberty is not a reality. So, by making our cities safer, we regained trust of people so that they didn't have to look for extreme alternatives and that they stopped blaming the others. With safe streets and clean streets, we closed literally the door for populists and we opened possibilities for people to become mentally more open for diversity. We fought criminality, but we did it on a liberal and not on a populist way. Liberals don't use the fight against crime to divide people, but to unite them in a common cause. Liberals don't use it as a weapon to stigmatize, but to mobilize. And we don't believe, as the old left, that only prevention works, but we also don't believe, like the old right, that only repression works. We need social workers and policemen to create safe cities. And above all, liberals know and understand that fighting crime is a social cause. First, victims in cities of criminality live in poorer neighborhoods. So a good fight against criminality is a good social policy. Secondly, we fought communitarian thinking, group thinking. For liberals, a city is a city of citizens and not of communities. Liberals do not put peoples in a box, reduce them to one identity, and then make from that identity a caricature. Old left politicians and old right politicians are both obsessed by group thinking. Their policy is based on it. Old left sees only discrimination and wants to pamper people. And old right only uses it to stigmatize and criminalize people. We liberals know that every human person is unique, that we all have different identities, and that we don't want to put people in boxes. Our third struggle is a struggle against ghettos and segregation. People who live in ghettos are not free. Therefore, we invested in living together, in building bridges and not walls, with mixed schools, mixed sport clubs, mixed neighborhoods. And in those mixed neighborhoods where middle class comes back, those middle class citizens are unpaid social workers. They create new social bonds. They come up for the neighborhood. They motivate people. They inspire people. They create upwards social mobility. The fourth thing we did was protecting freedom by standing for our values. We may never give in on the equality of men and women, the rule of law, democracy, the freedom of speech. But the fifth thing we also did was protecting our freedom also to those who make from every tradition and every habit a fundamental value. Because if you do that, if you say that every change in your society is a threat, is soumission, you don't defend, but you kill freedom. Because our society is built on the concept of freedom, and freedom means change. We may not be afraid of change. Imagine, dear liberal friends, that 50 years ago we had said the same thing, that we cannot change something of our society. What would have been done with women who stood up against traditions and habits, to have an equal place in society, to fight for their emancipation? We always do that. We always see groups who stand up on the basis of our fundamental values to change habits and traditions. And we have, as liberals, have to defend that principle of an open society that can change. And my last point, and a very important one for liberals, that is, we have to defend our liberal promise, the strength of a liberal society. What is the core of our conviction? We want to have a society where people, if they work hard, if they do their best, if they use their talents, they can create a better future for themselves. In a liberal society, you can be born in a poor family. You can have a migrant background, but you need to have the same equal chances and opportunities as everybody else. What is the biggest threat for a liberal promise? Something very irrational. Racism and discrimination. It destroys liberalism. It destroys our promise, and therefore liberals should be in the front line fighting every form of racism and discrimination. It's our duty to do that. Dear friends, I hope, that's my biggest dream as a politician, that my small city can be a little beacon of hope in times of populism and polarization. It's hard work, but with a liberal approach it can work. You know, we liberals all around the world, and also here in Germany, you carry the hope of a better society, because we agree with Lincoln, who said, we don't have to fear anything but fear itself. Our society can only be free if we are not afraid of the future, if we see opportunities and possibilities, and liberals do it every day again. And we do it because we liberals believe in the strength of our liberal principles. We do it because we believe in the strength of people, and we do it because we believe in freedom. I thank you.
Viel Applaus gibt es hier für Bart Somers, den Bürgermeister des belgischen Mechelen. Der Spiegel hat über ihn geschrieben, er habe die dreckigste Stadt Belgiens gerettet. Und er hat hier kurz erläutert, wie er es gemacht hat, irgendwie Freiheit und Sicherheit zu vereinen, wie er auch Verschiedenheit wieder Raum gegeben hat. Und er hat unter anderem gesagt, Sicherheit erreicht man nicht nur durch Polizei, sondern man braucht auch Sozialarbeiter. Und erst wenn man Sicherheit auf diesem Weg erreicht hat, dann ist auch Offenheit für Verschiedenheit da bei den Bürgerinnen und Bürgern. Und dann muss man noch darauf achten, dass man keine Ghettos schafft, wenn man Zuwanderung hat. Und dass man die Menschen nicht in Schubladen steckt, sondern die Bevölkerung quasi mischt oder vermischt dann auch und dann auf diese Weise dann auch zu einem auskömmlichen Miteinander bekommt. Und schließlich und endlich Liberalismus, hat er gesagt, heißt auch Rassismus in jeder Form zu bekämpfen. Jetzt sind